So on the topic of what do women want and feminism and why do women fight so hard to get access to a certain profession, let's say like a construction worker or a firefighter, and or like a fisher person in the north with icebergs, something very dangerous. So why do women fight so hard to get access to those professions? And once we get permission to access those professions, we don't really go into them. So still, if you go to the physics department or math or sciences, there's still way more men than women. And a lot of men say, look, we gave you the right, you can do it, why aren't you doing it? Why are you not going into construction? Why are you not going into engineering and so on? And it's on the one hand, it's a very legitimate question, because let's say someone goes to your home and they say, oh, can I have that candy? Let's say there's a very nice box of candy. Can I have it? And you say, no, you know what, like this is a gift for someone else, whatever. And they're like, no, but I really want it to, and they make a scene and they ask for it. And finally you open it and you say, okay, you can have the candy. And they say, oh, nah, I'm good. You'd be upset. You're like, why did you make such a scene when you're not even having the candy? So the fallacy in this reasoning is that women are not in your home. It is not, the world is not your home. The world does not belong to men, contrary to popular belief. The world belongs to all of us. So it's not about giving women permission to have a certain profession. You are not, the man is not the gatekeeper to women's rights. The man took away a woman's right, but he cannot give a woman a right. It is equal. Just like a woman cannot say you can't be a nurse because you're a man and I'm not allowing it, and then say, okay, I allow you, and you, if you don't want that profession, the woman get angry saying, well, I gave you the right, but there was nothing to give. The right to be in a certain profession is not for men to allow or disallow, because it belongs to all of us. Now, there are some details to that. So let's say in a profession like engineering, you could say, well, you're not using physical strength, why can't you just do it? And it's true. Officially, women have access to the profession of engineering, whatever it is, but unofficially, socially, there is still a lot of barriers, and they start at a very young age. Even if you look at children's clothing, girls, just go right now, you don't need to listen to me, go to Walmart or H&M or Gap or whatever other store that has a lot of choices for kids clothing. And look, girl says, oh, pretty, lovely, I like myself, I'm a star. Boys say explore, search, like all of those scientific, intellectual words. And there is a really good story of a woman, she's an engineer, and she was saying about her 4-year-old child that he saw her talk to her friends, and she has a lot of women friends who are also engineers. And once they asked him, do you want to be an engineer? And he said, no way, engineering is a woman's work. I don't want to do woman's work. And which is, you know, you can understand the irony of that. Yeah, so even from a little age, even though officially we're allowed or we have full free access, there are a lot of social barriers. And other barriers, let's say in a work like a construction site, even if a woman wants to go there, she can face sexual harassment, disrespect, and other isolation if the guys go to a strip club or whatever. And that can also prevent someone from pursuing a career in that. And some women still do, and environments are getting better. But there's still a barrier. And if it's still hard for you to understand about that barrier, just think like men say, oh, I never learned how to express my feelings, I cannot do it. But you're afraid to express your feelings. What do you mean? Just express yourself. It's easy. Most of the women will say, just say what you feel. I'm allowing you. You're free to do it. Why can't you do it? Like there is a block inside of you that isn't allowing you to express your emotions. Why? Because you grew up with it. And even though legally you're allowed, now even you're more allowed socially, psychologically there is this barrier. And it's the same thing about women and jobs and women and careers in certain fields. They're just not encouraged enough. There's just not as socially acceptable. There's not as much support. And parents, as willing as they are to have to treat their children equally, still studies show, and you can find that that still subconsciously girls are treated differently than boys. So yeah, this point, there are other points of course, but I hope this kind of helps you understand. So when you see a woman fight for her rights to access something, it's not about you as a man granting her the right as a woman for something. It's about her taking back her birthright to just do whatever the fun she wants. And I hope you understand that, and that's not to blame men. And I think it's not fair to expect a man to understand something that he never grew up with, that was never discussed. And for many men, all of a sudden there's all of these new concepts and ideas, and there is this anger from women, and they don't understand where it's coming from. So if you really want to understand and just live more harmoniously with women, I suggest you look into it. So for this topic of women and jobs, look into psychological and social, historical, and even still legal barriers. Okay, ciao.